Greetings, my friends. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would be so kind, please subscribe if you like what you see. Help our channel to keep growing and keep fighting the war to save pop culture. Together, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. Enjoy, and thanks. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and I stand before you today to share some information sent to me by one of my Hollywood spies regarding Disney's plan to gaslight us all and flood the media with pro-Kennedy propaganda, all to rehabilitate Kathleen Kennedy's reputation prior to her departure from the company. That's right, my friends. In an ongoing effort to placate Kathleen Kennedy so she'll finally leave quietly and peacefully, Disney has a strategy moving forward to try and gaslight fans and the media into believing that Kennedy's tenure at Lucasfilm was a success and that the decline of Star Wars under her so-called leadership was someone else's fault. And I'm told by my source they have a fall guy in mind. The fact that I received this information now is very interesting because it explains a lot of weird things that have suddenly started happening in the last few weeks in the media, disparate things that, when taken all together, seem to provide evidence in support of what I'm about to share with you. So I ask you to watch this video to the end as I build my case for your consideration and you be the judge. Before we go any further, let me say that what I'm about to share with you is information provided to me from a source who claims to have information on the situation inside Disney, but since I cannot personally verify this information, I must present this as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt.
This video is hereby salted. I am buckled up and ready for whatever you've got to lay on me, Daddy-O.
How dare you address me with such impertinence, Harvey Cthulhu?
Oops, sorry about that. I meant to say Overlord, Daddy-O.
That's better. Well, Harvey, this is an interesting story, and I got this tip right around the time that the Vanity Fair article landed, which I'm convinced is related to this story and lends some credence to this rumor. So I have a source who has been digging into the situation with Kathleen Kennedy for the last 4 or 5 months. While Kennedy has to this point largely been silent, and many people have kind of forgotten about her, which was one of the reasons for her silence in my opinion, this source never forgot about her and has been dogged for the last 5 months trying to figure out what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy. As my Hollywood spy put it, quote, "So as you know, out of all our sources, this source will not let this KK stuff go. Well, this has been going on now for about 4, maybe 5 months now, so have a seat, put your helmet on, and bolt it down, cause this is fucking crazy and somewhat hilarious," unquote. Having processed this information for several days now, I'm inclined to agree. My source tells me that Kennedy is not inclined to depart from Lucasfilm until certain conditions are met. And one of those conditions is she wants a full court press to rehabilitate her reputation, to gaslight the public into believing that her tenure on Star Wars was a great success, so that when she leaves, Disney has firmly expressed their faith in her and undying belief in her greatness.
How were you able to say that last part without puking in your mask? I know from your 7-hour live streams without a break that you have an iron bladder, but I guess you must have an iron stomach as well, man. Cause that's a one-way ticket to Crazy Town.
It's not the easy way, but it's the cowboy way. The level of gaslighting and blue-pilling here is truly absurd, as if fans were that weak-minded as to believe a retconned narrative that goes against all the available empirical evidence and their own personal experience. I started noticing that something weird was up a couple of weeks ago when strategically placed articles in corporate-controlled websites and shill media outlets started trying to peddle the lie that fans were re-evaluating The Last Jedi and coming to the conclusion that it really wasn't all that bad. I mean, look at all these articles about how The Last Jedi is really great, how it was a success, how fans are waking up to its genius. I ask you, seriously, is it any coincidence that all of these ludicrous shill articles started appearing in the last few weeks? Look at this excerpt from We Got This Covered and listen in particular to the hostile tone to fans so typical of Kathleen Kennedy. Quote, "It's difficult to understate how much anger Star Wars The Last Jedi generated. Rian Johnson's hugely anticipated sequel to The Force Awakens was praised by critics but pilloried by fans upset at the, quote, disrespectful, unquote, notice the sarcasm there, disrespectful treatment of Luke Skywalker. The mere presence of Laura Dern's Admiral Holdo, no asshole, it's what she did, but never mind, and complaints about the tactical realism of fantasy space warfare, amongst 1,000 other nitpicks. Thousands of guys with scraggly beards took to YouTube to yell their spittle-flecked fury. Several of the film stars were chased off social media, another lie, and Rian Johnson was pilloried as a hack/fraud/communist/feminazi, delete as appropriate. Now, 4 years on from its release, fans have decided The Last Jedi was actually pretty great. There's a popular thread on Star Wars reevaluating the movie, with the OP saying that, like many, they absolutely hated the movie, but on a rewatch they found a lot to like, praising Luke's story arc on him rediscovering hope, unquote.
The OP, or original poster, of course, being a paid Disney shill in Kennedy's camp that started that thread going on Reddit, and then other shills joined. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, I'm saying that this was the beginning of a concentrated effort by Disney itself to rehabilitate Kennedy's image, retcon her tenure at Lucasfilm, and keep her happy so that she'll go away peacefully after Indy 5's release. That's what my source is telling me, but there's more evidence of this full-court press to salvage Kennedy's reputation. Amid all these painfully transparent retcons of history, trying to fool us into believing that The Last Jedi was not the hideous joke we all know it was, there's a pattern, my friends, especially when you consider the last round of propaganda salvos launched last week, when Vanity Fair published no less than 2 articles over 2 days extolling the virtues of Kathleen Kennedy. The first story they published was called Star Wars: The Rebellion Will Be Televised, an article that focused on the Star Wars shows in development for Disney Plus, with an emphasis on how Kathleen Kennedy is in control over the whole operation, how it was her idea to put Favreau and Filoni together, how it's been a wonderful experience working with them, how it's been a team operation with her firmly in charge, basically a literary BJ. Flying in the face of everything we know about the troubled Civil War at Lucasfilm.
Hard not to notice that after many months of complete silence from Kennedy, now articles about her and The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson are springing up like mushrooms ahead of the release of the Kenobi TV show.
But it's even worse than that, Harvey. As part of this rather transparent push to retcon Kennedy's reputation, the very next day, after they published their articles about Star Wars TV shows, Vanity Fair then published another article, this one a full-blown interview with Kathleen Kennedy called, Star Wars Forever, How Kathleen Kennedy is Expanding the Star Wars Universe.
Oh, so now it's not Favreau and Filoni expanding the universe, it's Kathleen Kennedy who is behind it all along. Well, now I see. So glad I took that blue pill this morning.
Oh, you gotta keep up on those blue pills, Harvey. Otherwise, reality starts to intrude. I mean, these articles are doing their best to make it clear that Star Wars is Kennedy's universe, sliding Favreau's contributions and control over the franchise. If you have any doubts, just look at this picture of Favreau and Kennedy standing together. Doesn't this look like something from a hostage video? Favreau tightly gripping the chair, his expression one of a man about to get a root canal by way of the rectal canal. And Kennedy loathing Favreau so much in this image, she can't even look in his direction. I ask you, is this the picture of a happy family? Is this the picture of a company that did not have a civil war? My source claims that moving forward, While John and Dave will still have full creative control over Star Wars, moving forward, Disney will be focusing a lot of the attention on Kathleen Kennedy, shifting credit for the success of shows like Kenobi and Ahsoka to Kennedy in order to facilitate her departure from the company with a shiny coat of pseudo-honor.
Of course, that's assuming that Kenobi and Ahsoka are going to be successful. And that's no gimme, given their track record.
Very true, Harvey, but they want the narrative out there. If those shows succeed, as they hope they will, the credit is going to be shifted to Kathleen Kennedy moving forward. But, and here is at least the silver lining on this 1984-esque Ministry of Truth bullshit, to complete the gaslighting, Disney knows they need a fall guy to shift fan rage away from Kennedy and towards another target. And that sacrificial lamb, according to my source, is none other than Pablo Hidalgo.
Pablo Hidalgo, the perfect patsy. Pablo actually does share a degree of complicity in the ruination of Star Wars, attacking fans and generally furthering the phony and tired istophobe narrative so near and dear to KK's heart.
Yep, it has to be someone fans know about. It has to be a close ally of Kennedy's, and it has to be someone who genuinely does share a measure of blame. Pablo's the perfect patsy, as you say, Harvey. All of this is Disney's plan to help escort KK out the door peacefully and quietly. So here's hoping that this video will insulate you all from being gaslighted. Always take the red pill, people. Always opt for the red pill. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.